Hey everybody, welcome to the Plato's Roadshow channel on YouTube. My name is Ricky Rox, and this is a series called You're Doing It All Wrong, because you are. And through no fault of your own, obviously. You've been lied to your whole lives about everything. So we're going to set the record straight, and we're going to give you all the information that nobody is giving you on other things. So we're going to dig right into it today. One of the lessons is called Shocking and True. The results were so shocking, we thought it couldn't possibly be true. But the more we dug into it, it started lining up with known history. What we found is history, as you know it from textbooks, tends to be paltering political history. Who was ruling when? Who was king or queen where? But if you look at the history of humans, which is what DNA records, you'll find a significant divergence from political history. And so it rewrites the history of who we came from and how we think about ourselves. This is earth-shaking. But I know if I just jump into the DNA pool trying to explain it that way first, you wouldn't believe it. Yes, it's that revolutionary. This study answers that one big question that science has been asking for a long time. Who do we come from? And the answer will shock you. I'm going to take you from the Tower of Babel to the big erect penis of Babel we're stuck with today. Underlying assumptions, things we've been led to believe are true, that we all know now or take for granted, and that we know are lies at the foundation of everyone's belief systems. They're wrong. I've written about people's propensity to resist any changes to what they believe. Normalcy bias and cognitive dissonance are behind most of it. I've also explained how when presented with a new reality that has better evidence than the old one, then you have a responsibility to fix those erroneous underlying assumptions, even if it's one of those foundational changes that will shake loose the old assumptions and everything you've erected on them. I'm warning you, this stuff is literally biblical. And wherever you think you come from, it's about to be dramatically rewritten. For instance, Neanderthals weren't near as primitive as we've been taught, and they aren't a link in the supposed chain of evolution into Homo sapiens. No, the new evidence proves, I said proves, that Neanderthals are a separate species of hominids that survived an ancient catastrophe. The Americas were resettled at least once before any Europeans came here. There is no significant difference between black and white people. In fact, we are all just varying shades of brown. And the studies show that most European nationalities are of Asian descent. And genetically speaking, European nationalities have all but disappeared in the last 300 years. You don't see a long lineage of Roman, German, or Greek lineages anymore. We have to unravel our modern-day DNA sequences and work our way backwards to the so-called myth of Babel, when Yahweh confounded the common language so they could no longer understand each other, and then scattered them all around the world. I'm hoping you will marvel at how your story about who you really are and who your loved ones really are in a way you've never marveled before. Change can be exciting. There's more to come. On the contrary, said John Adams, when people are universally ignorant and debauched in their manners, they will sink under their own weight without the aid of foreign invaders. When knowledge is diffused, it's very, very difficult to confront someone who has that knowledge, because knowledge is power. All right, now prove me wrong. Justice is just an illusion. All the world is a stage, kids. All of it. It's all a bunch of shit, and it rhymes with it, because it is it all a bunch of shit. And I don't give a shit. I don't care what you are, why you are, where you are, who you are, or even when you are. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Doing something righteous the wrong way is wrong. And everyone knows it. Just like doing something wrong to make a right is. And you all know it. Justice. Ha! What is that shit anyway? Great idea is what it is. Too bad we can never get it off the drawing tables. You ask people who've met up with the pretender thing they call justice, and ask them if they've met justice, I dare you. What do you think at least 90% of them are going to say? Like what? Was it a case of mistaken identity? Justice is a fucking illusion. And the world, not the earth, the world is a fucking stage. Nothing but a great big fucking stage. And the earth is a victim of all the shit. And everything played on it. Excepting the truly beautiful music of the people, which is used by stage masters for dramatic effect, is contrived. People's heartstrings get plucked and pulled every which way, wherever the puppet masters wish to push them. There's something to that stage talk about having the audience eaten out of the palm of my wrinkly claw hand. Come on. You know how this works. They distract them while the pickpockets go to work. I'm looking out my window right now. What do I see? The earth. The world is there. There's things that go whizzing by out there in front and across the lawn where the neighbors are having another spat. And I can clearly be seen, and it can clearly be seen on every one of those black rectangles that play 24 hours a day. That's the thing we call the world stage. And everything is played on that stage, and everything is contrived. The earth is that other stuff out there mixed in with all the shit out there. The grass, the trees, the bees, the chirping birds, the gospel words, the cooling breeze, and this cheese I have over here. Definitely earthly. Not the stage, even though it works and looks like one in various places where it's been paved over and overbuilt. Come on, you know this stuff, and I think it's a good idea to start seeing the actors for what they really are. All the folks in this video act so robotically and psychotically in your videos. Reminds me of the movie They Live. It's quite frightening to see the hypnosis so deeply trained in the brain in most of the masses. That is anonymous content right there. See, some of us see it. Far too many don't, or can't, or won't. Now that we've established a few things, let's get back to chewing some of that shit they call justice. What exactly is it? Well, hell, dictionaries are all over the stage without ever stating a specific basis. Fairness, righteousness, equity, natural virtue, assessment, judgment, a right, and judicature, which is the system itself. Break it down. Any verb ending in ness refers to actions, processes, conditions, or states of being, in other words, feelings. Nothing solid there. As I've proven in 100 ways over, equity is nothing but a bullshit idea. There is no such thing as equity. It is impossible. Hell of a thing to base something as important like a judicature on, huh? Feelings and fake shit. Equity is not a right. You show me where it clearly enumerates equity as a right anywhere. And if it's supposedly so fucking important, how come I can't find the fucking word in any of our founding documents? that do clearly enumerate our God-given rights. Dictionaries, in case you haven't noticed, are full and getting fuller every fucking day with bullshit definitions and propaganda. And somehow I don't picture the Freemason Daniel Webster spinning in his grave. Curiously, though, my law dictionary has a one-line definition. Justice is the constant and perpetual disposition to render every man his due. I can live with that, except for two things: who does it and how it's done. Wait, there is a third thing. Who, or I should say what, they do it for, because my experience tells me that if the man it refers to should find him or herself in a court of justice defending against or claiming harm against a corporation, they will quickly see exactly who that what is, and it ain't the man. Are you seeing? Bet you didn't know. All courts are incorporated dead bodies uttering in past tense. One more time. Letters of incorporation are no different than the letters of marque that kings and queens issued to pirates in the past. Justice is a big fucking club, and we ain't in it. That's why they wield it so easily against men. Get this through your battered head. Courts and cops, the supposed arbiters of justice, have no duty to protect you. But according to the letters of incorporation, they do have a duty to rob you as far as the law arbitrated by corporated courts will allow. Does that seem like justice to you? If cops or anyone else in justice or the incorporated world, which includes every single governmental entity in the so-called free world, lays that hackneyed line on you that suggests what they are doing is being done to protect somebody, you just remind them of the Supreme Court ruling that no cop has a duty to protect anyone. You can look it up. Castle Rock versus Gonzalez. And point out additional evidence. Their cop cars no longer can or do say to protect and serve, or anything else that suggests they protect anyone other than their masters. Not even the Constitution that they took an oath to protect. Of course, we all know none of them read anything, and they only said that oath to get the job. You know, the job that is the only job in America that by law has no minimum intelligence requirement. Cops. No wonder they're all so stupid. That was established by the Supreme Court, which ironically used the Constitution as a crutch to affirm that ridiculous law. Police forces operate on an honor system because the Supreme Court ruled that police officers can legally lie. What honor is in that? The generation coming up is a monstrous anomaly from every previous generation. It's a social media generation, and one would have to be blind, deaf, and dumbfounded if one can't see or comprehend how lost they are. I'm telling you, from knowledge and direct experience, if we don't break those kids free from that hypnotic, soul-sucking social programming, they'll be lost forever. Make sure you subscribe and click the like bell, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye.